How it should be done. We want it done professionally with pride. But I would support even those Dolphins players who kneel. If they came to me and said, Coach, we want to do this because we really think it's important, I would support that.
When were your beliefs about the flag and the anthem formed?
You know, in 1968, I was a 12-year-old kid. Martin Luther King had just gotten shot. Tommy Smith and John Carlos at the 68 Olympics with the bowed heads. And there were African Americans all over the country at that time trying to decide whether we should stand up for the national anthem. I talked to my dad about it. My dad was a teacher. He had enlisted in the service to fight in World War II. And he did that even though he knew when he came back he wouldn't be able to ride in the front of some buses. He wouldn't be able to teach in white schools. But he fought for our country. And when I asked him what I should do, he said, do what you think is going to help make the situation better.
And I know that you've stressed that with these players. If you do this, tell me what you're doing that's going to make this a positive. Don't just do it because Colin Kaepernick's doing it.
Exactly. And there was a time, Dan, when I didn't stand up for the national anthem. But as I grew as a Christian man, I felt like that wasn't the right thing to do for me. There was something I could do to make it better. So when I saw racial injustice that I perceived, I stood for the national anthem, but I bowed my head and I prayed that God would make us a country that really was the land of the free and the home of the brave. I thought that's the way I personally could protest but make the situation better.
Your dad's no longer with us. How do you think he'd feel if he saw these protests right now for a man who fought in World War II?
You know what? As a veteran, he would not be offended. He would tell them the same thing he told me. He would say, if you really believe what you're doing is going to make things better, do it, because that's why we fought, to make America the land of the free and the home of the brave, so people who look differently or even think differently can still have their views expressed.
Thank you, Tony.